propaganda social media say President Mahama anti-man restore wa lances na ye MPP foa nti o mo bremu MPP fo enne me de mre na to na ma set records no straight ama obi ahu na time am wo opposition no mo ma ewiase nyina ba bia te say na nado danko akofo adotim odene MPP fo tim odene Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Baumia ni team Eden. Na banks na e collapse ye ne ka ho bie ana ama mamfo nya adwuma nye. Mo yira fise 2015 President John Dramani Mahama egu microfinance e mako 139 Ghana ha 139 ye die dini nyina betudwa na mom ye bad propaganda na omo ye no afedi e bosha a omo share no e bosha campaign promises emu dewa ne nsem dewa yen kansem fa nada nkrofo yen penti abana na oye the right thing no na manfo hu nse on pegana fo yi no mumom na pegana fo yi ema presidential candidate na gina ho ka kire Ghana fo se omunya gidie wonmu na omonto abama no na omonto abama na obe make sure say oba restore obi Atlantis yama no without delay. And namatnas ye ma obia otie ene anwumre evidential atiase say emra ehwe say ye di esika ebekwa akoto bange ni yakwa akoyie any other savings and loans nyina no ni ye frɛ no emra ye pass 2016 at 9:30 savings and deposit at no savings and deposit institution at no at 9:30 2016 President John Dramani Mahama e brana obu mine 2016 no ena ma wo mo pass ye because of microfinance issues whereby ye DKM ene ho ensensem ento gina simpie so e ka kire Ghana fo se die mra na ono de aba no bank bia ni ho a aban ne ba behwe ama omadi timamfo sika ana shareholders ebe di timamfo sika ye be form ho on be form ho adie. And to pass at 9:30 savings and deposited at 9:30 2016 and a debate no address parliament 2016 the Samrana Basse shareholders any funders edi and Crofosika Modia Quacoto Bangia. O mine mra no mbere ebedi etimino mbia no na nwumre se President Mahama na de samra ne baye because of what happened DKM issues ne other matters na enunti na ode atate ne baye in 2016 dia e ba ne se no nu twa no ho ebe defend shareholders ya wo ma di nkrofo a ye do musika akoto bank obe defend wo mo say na ni kwan say aban no e revoke wo mo lances and so President John Dramani Mahama ne pass at 9:30 ni say bangia wo a regulatory minimum no a year below 400 million ese say ye je wo bank no we di omo koya akokode ka ukobro 400 million o capital deficit no ese say ye minimum 400 million we wo mo koya akokoduru 7.4 million after the Mahama nim ba na opetu minti na ono ankasa ne mara ode baaye SDI Savings and Deposits Institution Act a kire say shareholders ne Fatima mufuo sika sa manfo abebie bank no ma shakira fan krofo sika na nkrofo mdo sika koto ho na shareholders na fa sika na dia obe make sure say sa nkrofo ni nyina ebeti wom ebra president Mahama de sa mra ne ba obe firi so no na onimpefe say ye wo banks binum wo ha emu mpanfo afa nkrofo sika omde akwakoto adi no yi nani owie ya na nado aban ba ya obeye the right thing no wa yi U10 senka ono a nka onwu bange no nka odisika be den ebe wuram wo mreko ne penso sa banks yo disika wuram anyeyie enu nti na okopase Savings and Deposited Act 930 say wo mo mbeye sabia no o man ne mra no omunni afeso wo capital deficit ne ba below 400 million as say ye geo lances president Mahama na this amran ba enye MPP ena ya tnas ye fano bank one after the other near MPP bato ya na approatite na bank na kwapem no masisa enkrofo sika na NDC ye propaganda including president Mahama say oba odom lances bema omo knowing very well or can say enkrofo aye yi o madi nyina oba odom lances bema omo ne asana for omadwuma knowing very well say ono na ye mra say o capital deficit ne ye below 400 million Nature say what the abro at say a Joe Bang no on yes amara no and so political power all pay ewo kwambone suntino or can send my banner to some people a ban over by your time and no by you know nimpefe say bang bia ni ho betima restore wo land to say mom because near na bang in ye no and yet but a very difficult for President Mahama to come back and tell Ghanaians to say, "Men me katre Ghana for se me ba." Banks na me do mo lances be ma omo. Na mom enye yie. E be difficult so betima yes ade no. Because at the time na oka no nim say enye yie. But o come amanfo anya do ene anije ahu say ye na enye. Am pipi na enye. But sa nyama boni we nyina no e koso wo ne penso wo. Se nkrofo di sika ekoto bank. Na shareholders no fasika no ni nyina si won penso esia no matam sika free Bank of Ghana no mo dia bewuram na mpanfo na se na di sika no esia o mo fa nkrofo sika na bank no kofama no matam Ghana fo sika free Bank of Ghana no mo dia bewuram na mpanfo na se na ye dai asai fo ni sika ni nyina no ma chafa ni nyina si ni penso 2014 to 2016 and to am prepare report to come and say banks and near no it's about time say you free as a punish shareholders binum because muna din crofo sika wo mati fifire teacher for boabo sika no nurse for boabo sika no adwadifo boabo sika no Ghana mrante ne maba bi boabo sika no say wo mo de kwakoye business ya savings papa bi akotobon omo ye savings ya na shareholders no atranse cheska nadi enti omo tenase yes amara no se be ye be chiche omo enso akire okotena afie no o se ye mfa sobo emmo MPP moma Ye build a strong financial economy. Because on my being who bet me a jinan and nanswa. Financial sector no ewoswa obetuma gina ne nanso. Nti ye buy ene ne yesese ye ne sen ye kind of recapitalization no. Esese ye banks na adidi atrase. Na nkrofo do omu sika koto a ye nsanka na shareholders ne de yard foforo no. Ye nhwe na san nkrofo no nyina no ye dika ne do man ni sika ama omo say bank ne ba begu munye ebi 100 million 400 million ebi ji 600 million nso omo je ya de chinya na omo asafo no sika no e de akwakogu amanone akofo ado ne ba omi abone omo ye ne say se yantima nye sa de na ne se yensu yi ani se de president Mahama yi na ni na ye beda sori no enipa be ko problem mu no enya senkuma enti yenye recapitalization na wo mo aye betima consolidate wo mo yen consolidate na enya ahoden na wo mo di abro no so no yen revoke wo mo lances no ne yen kekansi ani and this nim sa niama we nyina and now me mo ka say the finance minister nim say enya possible. Say bossa ye say ye do mo lances be ma mo na ban ba ko no MPP party no mutim odin no onim say ye propaganda campaign message. Eye nada President Mahama no gina simpie so kan ye no onim say enye yi. Until nano they want to change the narrative say lances na ma ye mfa so bo no mo MPP. At the time now, Okasa obe restore no. Ediana na wo. Emrana wa nkasa wo de baaye no. Na emrana kadia ba semfa restoration of lands ho. Na emrana kase so capital deficit kwa below 400 7.4 billion. Yenkoso man run bank na dabi. Emra president Mahama wo de bae wo so capital deficit ultimate deka o capital every bank bia no pay at 9:30 no ya ye ne say o capital deficit no should be 400 million we dia bank bitimi koya koduru 7.4 billion Ghana cedis capital deficit ne chese wabu mra no so abu mra no so a any kwan say ye makwan kra ma wo shareholders nimpo eye any other business in the country. And so politics in tea ye nyankrofo eso omo so omo ye omo political campaign na eso so mba ye no omo ye and nemo pesa mu changing narratives na ye baba ni ya baba expose mu ni edikan Mikita press release and in from the Bank of Ghana. Press release ye dating of 1st August 2018 from the Bank of Ghana dated 1st August 2018. Page 6 of the release. And American canning. Or see, Unibank had given out amount totaling 1.6 billion. Unibank had given out amount totaling 1.6 billion to shareholders and related parties in the form of loans and advances without due process and in breach of relevant provision of Act 930. In addition, these shareholders and related parties had also been given amount totaling 3.7 billion Ghana cedis, which were neither granted through the normal credit delivery process nor reported as part of the bank's loan portfolio. They were also not skilled with collateral or attracted no interest income for Unibank. Altogether, shareholders and related parties of Unibank had taken out an amount of 5.3 billion, constituting 75% of total assets of the bank. 75%. Muntio, paragraph wene na medeba no. Or see Unibank, e can bank who are ye revoke o mo lances no. Bank of Ghana chiremu say. Nienti ye revoke o mo lances. Anjis nim pepe say 2018 no na MPP aban kan nokre kire Ghana fo. Ekwana na Unibank de enkrofo a omudo omusika koto fa so. Eno na report we kire mu say Unibank na ewo honom shareholders wo mo na ye bank mpanyfo no wo matam sika ye timamfo de sika koto honom no shareholders na tam sa sika na de abo mo ho bosia eye 1.6 billion Ghana cedis. Report no kire say omo de bo mo ho bosia anfa proper procedure so as required under Act 930. Just a man follow due process no and no ye one. Near to be the American can hearing in an say Unibank in paying for the beam. Asani yin crofosika and that bank ho, more money for sika, Kobe for sika, depositors for sika no. Womu yi 3.7 billion. And no dear. Woman tressa a bosia. Oman record so. And so omu twinsika edi free mu omu call ye no and crofo sika ye de koto no no na mpanfo na bo awura bank ho. Afa mu 3.7 billion. And no de oman record say a bosia. And now we ni ye de kwakoye. Just say ye free money or mafa. And to kan nyina boma. Shareholders no afa deposit sika afri bank ho ankrofo tifi o mani da so ne say ye wo sika da bank no sa na hwe ni kutreyam empanyfo mo bie bank no ache sika na ye den adi we nye Abronye report a Bank of Ghana report o mo de ba 1st August in the form of press release 2018 and ekasai. Na ufani nyina na 3.7 omu yi ya o man kire se ye bosia na omu fi se ye sika egu warehouse nti yensesa na omu sesa kono ene ni omu atwere se ye bosia 1.6 billion no o kan nyina aboma empanfo omu hwe bank ne so ene omu ho nkrofo atam enkrofo sika free bank ho 5.3 billion Ghana cedis. Now the kwa ohanchi chemu sa ofa bank ni nyina japade a now convert sa sika we at the kwa oha enchi chemu mu a 75% aduosonum. Se bank na japade ye 100% ya. And painful na we are japadia 75%. Nti aka 25% to say, ya ye die sika koto no. Ye dia. Ni echira ni say. Se usika da bank. Na se bank in painful edi sika no mu 75% ya. Echira se omuntimi ntuaka. Echira se bank no access no. Akano a negative 25% entimin tuaka. Bank bia wase aka negative 25% no e kese wontimin tuaka until depositors ever struggle to withdraw or get their money back. And no your first point no. We a Bank of Ghana release. Sanyama we nyina na wo ho Ato forcing as a deputy finance minister under Setepe aware. And no more cash and no de politics. MPP for I person ye the right thing no. Ye mom yahu be ye time Ghana for him. But this is the report. Ye mom yahu be ye Ghana for him. Na Ghana for pese ombetie yasem omupe propaganda na tie ompe ne ogina simpie so say me ba ya bang ne ye den eba nti yasem de obi anye ready so obetie MPP yasem. Point 2 no or say out of the total customer deposit of 4.3 billion Tio, Awrewo, and Semasina, Ghana no, yet based on propaganda. And this 2020-2024, one major campaign message against MPP, galamse and financial sector, banks ya, no more yama bonia, based on Emra President Mahama de Baye. Na MPP yes ombe implement sanse ye o mine mra ni ye the right thing no ni nya a strong financial economy no MPP sabi ye ho be ye time to say a fear because and this be ye propaganda again ni yes so gain no apenti ye say ye nye papa. Point number 2 muntie ni ye Awreho or say out of total customer deposit of 4.3 billion, out of total customer deposit of 4.3 billion, 2.3 billion Ghana cedis was not disclosed to the Bank of Ghana. Unibank no. Deposit in kwa moji free nkrofo ho, fasika bra, fasika beto, fasika bra. So we dwadeni fasika be sevu unya wa ba beje we mra no wo mutimi gigi nkrofo sika saa 4.3 billion Ghana cedis na every bank biya ewo oman mo ha no at the close of the day of work as a same report to the number of deposits amoje at the Bank of Ghana to the end of the year. Na Unibank J and Crawford deposit customers sika amoje ye no. A year 4.3 billion Ghana cedis no. Emu 2.3 billion Ghana cedis there. Omu DCA Bank of Ghana say and on the omanyi sika bia na che say 2 billion and omu disclose ye out of the 4.3 no na mom 2.3 there oman disclose amfa ma Bank of Ghana or see loans and advances to customers were also overstated by 1.3 billion in prudential returns to the Bank of Ghana. Yakoko jilona ebia afimuni nyina wamo apply so mo pebosia ewo Bank of Unibank hono se bosia wamo advance ye eye 500 million. Unibank in painful no. Epasa omo dada Bank of Ghana nti. Wamo recordo ye. Eka say a man for yama omo bosia. Eye 1.5 billion. Eso no omo boa. Untie ni you. Say ye apply mumma a loan. Mumma 2,000. Mumma 5,000. Mumma say. Bosia omoma ye nyina say ye 200 million. Womo report wama Bank of Ghana no matwe say ye 1 billion to cover sikabia womadi kanawia edi free depositors no we Bank of Ghana report pon number 2 e kwana na yedi nkrofo faso no. Point number 3, over 89% of Unibank's loan and advances book of 3.74 billion as of 31st May 2018 was classified as non-performing. In addition to amount totaling 3.7 billion given out to shareholders and related parties which were not recorded as part of the bank's loan portfolio. Point number 3 no. Busia ye kan wasem bank ni sika. So yen into access dia me ka so o ma remove 75% manaka negative 25 no. Busia shareholders edema o mo ho nyina no emu 89% na shareholders no enye o madwen say o mo disika na ba nti o mo classify sika o mo fa free bank no as non-performing loans. Nature say Busia yadia yentimi ntua ana yentimi ni akire nkonkodie enso na sika no wo shareholders no mpanyimfo a wo mo na bank no yeden eye omodia Bank of Ghana na ka say. Point number 4, after making allowances for impairment to recognize the deterioration in the quality of Unibank assets and other requirements under Bank of Ghana's capital adequacy framework, Unibank was balance sheet. No, there's an error, grammar error here. Unibank sheet was insolvent with negative, correcting it here, with negative shareholders fund of 6.78 billion Ghana cedis as at 31st May 2018, representing asset of 2.38 billion Ghana cedis, less liability of 9.15 billion Ghana cedis. Bangia ni liability and kwaye 9.15 billion Ghana cedis. Ni enyan krofo aba bonten eba be defend this abangano. The bank therefore has a capital deficit of 7.4 billion Ghana cedis compared to the regulatory minimum of 400 million Ghana cedis. Capital deficit, you know, as I say, 400 million Ghana cedis. Pay Marana President Mahama de buy, you know. And so Unibank ekoya kokoduru 7.4 billion Ghana cedis capital deficit. Nature say bank, you know, akwa we yan hwia enye yie. Enti why na ekwatam 7.4 billion Ghana fosika e di amane se onkwaso emfa nrane bank no. Si ya yemra wo manum se wo rane bank ya capital deficit no enye 400 million Ghana cedis. Na se bank bitimi kwa man capital deficit no eba be ye 7.4 billion Ghana cedis ya. Ministry of Health wamu budget enuru 7 billion Ghana cedis. Ministry of Education wamu budget enuru 7 billion Ghana cedis. Yes. Ministry of Interior Womo budget enduru 7 billion Ghana cedis. Nti yeda individual bi ko run bank. Na emrane say you are capital deficit. According to the governing law, no, should be 400 million Ghana cedis. Ne say ekwa duru 7 billion Ghana cedis ya. Why sika and ye pompe and ye akwa wuram dia ye bank no. In any case, and this maba. Some say kwabra du 4 year and this ninti. And am people go in bank. And now you may catch them say. The capital deficit no, na ye 7.4 billion. Monfamano, non-fam run bangano. Some about by mu, my propaganda about by mu. And Timuni any excuse to say, ye nyasika makwabna to 4 to go back and operate the bank. Muni any excuse. Montam 7 billion no, emano. 7 billion Ghana in montam mano. At least, don't so levy aba. I'm making money. At least, VAT increment aba. I'm making money. At least, electricity aba. I'm Ghana for faso in terms of tariffs. I'm making money. More money there. Montam 7.4 billion. No, I'm not bread for. None bank no. I'm rabi. The liabilities in Yinano, 9 billion. Monfamano. Muntia ho asem na bang ne samra and no na Ghana for hwehwe se wuti wiase na se unim nokora na se wonka nokora eye wa wasem. Now ye last point, last but one. After making adjustment to Unibank balance sheet to offset outstanding debt totaling 428 million 817,000 owned it by government contractors, backed by interim payment certificate issued by the government. The bank's liability, including an amount of 3.4 billion owed to the Bank of Ghana, remains significantly more than its assets and is therefore insolvent. Bank na prenyina bubu uye no hwenye yie. Se uyi contractors ye omusika, omo ne call bank. Ho ekodi ebosia ko ekoye omaduma sika ne nyina ye just 400 million. Enti no Bank of Ghana kire say womudu omu certificate nyina ba kire ye no only 400 million and a bank no de ma contract say monyi nkonko ye aduma. Enti ebisa say sika 5.3 billion a shareholders in a fire no aduma be no omde koye. If contractor sika a omode busia free Unibank aye 430 million 5.7 billion na shareholders fire no omode scan 5 billion omode scan 5 na saska we no eno akiri no se wo tia free bank no liability 9.15 billion Sirano, woman liability no egusu jinamu around would the way new air quacotria, would the 400 million no air quacotria liability no kana subia, stirano, womuguso, woman liability no egusu jina 9 billion no. Into a mudiscana yade, a fine. Discana fine. Okay.
Would give back the licenses of those whose banks were unjustifiably taken. There might be financial implications to it, but we must be prepared to bear those financial implications, because when government does wrong, it must restitute. We would give back the licenses of those whose banks were unjustifiably taken. There might be financial implications to it, but we must be prepared to bear those financial implications, because when government does wrong, it must restitute. We would give back the licenses of those whose banks were unjustifiable.
Banking licenses that were cancelled by this government will be restored. The banking licenses that were cancelled by this government will be restored. The banking licenses that were cancelled by this government will be restored. The banking licenses that were cancelled by this government will be restored. The banking licenses that were cancelled by this government will be restored. The banking licenses that were cancelled by this government will be restored.
We would give back the licenses of those whose banks were unjustifiably taken. There might be financial implications to it, but we must be prepared to bear those financial implications, because when government does wrong, it must restitute. We would give back the licenses of those whose banks were unjustifiably taken. There might be financial implications to it, but we must be prepared to bear those financial implications, because when government does wrong, it must restitute. We would give back the licenses of those whose banks were unjustifiably taken. There might be financial implications to it, but we must be prepared to bear those financial implications, because when government does wrong, it must restitute. We would give back the licenses of those whose banks were unjustifiably taken. There might be financial implications to it, but we must be prepared to bear those financial implications, because when government does wrong, it must restitute. We would give back.
The banking licenses that were cancelled by this government will be restored. The banking licenses that were cancelled by this government will be restored. The banking licenses that were cancelled by this government will be restored. The banking licenses that were cancelled by this government will be restored. The banking licenses that were cancelled by this government will be restored. The banking licenses that were cancelled by this government will be restored. The banking licenses that were cancelled by this government will be restored. The banking licenses that were cancelled by this government will be restored. The banking licenses that were cancelled by this government will be restored. The banking licenses that were cancelled by this government will be restored. The banking licenses that were cancelled by this government will be restored. The banking licenses that were cancelled by this government will be restored. The banking licenses that were cancelled by this government will be restored. The banking licenses that were cancelled by this government will be restored. The banking licenses that were cancelled by this government will be restored. The banking licenses that were cancelled by this government will be restored. The banking licenses that were cancelled by this government will be restored. The banking licenses that were cancelled by this government will be restored. The banking licenses that were cancelled by this government will be restored. The banking licenses that were cancelled by this government will be restored. The banking licenses that were cancelled by this government will be restored. The banking licenses that were cancelled by this government will be restored.
Ohia TV so Mahama TV video no we ye. Yesi twinanim da hɔ ye nya monchen. Ɛna yesi kakum ye gina ade na num. Kakum. Yesi kakum ye gina ade na num. Ha. Ɛno na motie no. So oye president ntimintin koka say kakum no ma yinme fa manamum kakum ye gina ade na num. Oh, report where one bank report no. I see to summarize, as of 31st May 2018, Unibank was insolvent with a capital deficit of 7.4 billion Ghana cedis, as compared to the regulatory minimum of 400 million Ghana cedis. Yeah, why mara? So, bank wunya hoden kwa capital deficit no. Eni kwan se a quarter 400 million Ghana cedis. We dey the capital deficit e koye koduru 7.4 billion Ghana cedis. And so politics here, enye papa. Ni yemfa nokre because ye kan nokra omonto aba manti ye nitro enkyere Ghana fo na no mbetwe so ato aba no. Report to me. And ne, what shall say any na debo. Yan Kasenya means tie wotra wudi ye, and a ma udin kunim. Mentran kase, a tra wudi ye ntinyame adom, warine, ntino, ye di obaye. Memfanya midini mat sadie wemu. Because Yankupon watrofo. Now mo trona udi na Ghana for se wotrone na ye. Also the banks beba. Uba restore mo mako ye adwuma restore. Now mo sa de boni we nu esi wu penso. Nti wakwa ababie ma. Babia ubeyi sika 7.4 billion no de akoma Unibank nkwa no. Yima omo. Me twaso no ose end a capital adequacy ratio of negative 74.65%. Social SDI savings and deposit taking institution na o capital adequacy ratio no should be 10%. But the minimum capital adequacy ratio of a bank should be 10%. But when there, could do 74.65%. And so now, and this is for say, yeah, and people for 9 years, and this is for say, yeah, and people for in the Pabona for. And ne, bank ya. The capital adequacy ratio. And Marani say 10%. Now or call ya could do 74%, no. And just a bank na kwapem. Ye diniya bibi and ye. And tinia maban nemo baye. Mumfanya mayenre. Mumfanya mayenre. Or see, Unibank is also cash flow insolvent, given that a significant portion of the assets are locked up in the interest-free loan and other advances to its shareholders and related parties. And that don't know. Ye call Royal Bank. I say na ye can bank nkwa because I must start propaganda say lances, you know, they should blame MPP, they should do this. Royal Bank, the Royal Bank, and Royal Bank was launched as a universal bank in 2012. It has over the last few years experienced solvency and acute liquidity challenges. An on-site examination conducted by the Bank of Ghana in 31st March 2018 revealed a number of irregularities. The Bank of Ghana appointed an advisor for Royal Bank in May 2018 to advise management of the bank with the primary mandate to stabilize and improve the affairs of the bank. Based on the Bank of Ghana's assessment, Royal Bank is insolvent and faced with acute liquidity challenge. Liquidity, kudi ganama. Brofotintin ya ye kanyina. Liquidity ya cash you. Brofotintin liquidity ya nigri. And to a matsam nyina ne say, wamukwa ye Royal Bank examination no. A man for wamukwa investment wo ho. A man for wamukwa savings wo ho. Scanning na ya mutu afababi where a report na woma ho de no awo fam sa bra bank ne kire say Bank of Ghana report ne kire say bra ye bie bank no 2012 NDC penso akopensa president Mahama ebeko fie a o sana be hye no bank no womo ye no basa nkrofo sika womo de kwoto ho na manfo womo ye investment no na womo ni ani daso yentie o said the bank suffered severe capital impairment due to under provisioning for loans, overestimation of investment with other financial institutions, and overstated of capital on account of fixed assets, which were rejected by the Bank of Ghana for capital purposes. So the midi can a man for investment or my basa. Sikano as a second report on daily basis, other investment, whether deposit receive or whatever, and I say yeah bond. Nina ye overstated to deceive the Bank of Ghana officials. And ye kito mumu say or say this resulted in an adjusted capital of negative 484 million Ghana cedis, yielding a capital adequacy ratio of negative 80.53%. President Mahama now the bar 2015 no a specialized and deposit taking article. Yes, see, bank no will minimum capital adequacy ratio at 10%. Minimum. Amrano ebema kwanye minimum. Where the Royal Bank koya kokodru 80.53% is a protected union bank no. Or say a capital deficiency of 567.78 million and a network of negative 498 million as at 31st May 2018. Enti mumisa to force in say as a finance expert se bank bi abakosem nie bank bi records near sa bank no ye mane ye adwuma ana say ye revoke ne land mumisa no as a finance expert. And so at the time now to forcing ejina president Mahama chi omo ye propaganda nya na to forcing him say sa banks ni nyina no nokre banks ni ye mo ye adwuma on be kum Ghana for nti na MPP ye the right thing and so send a party beba power manager finance minister nti o ditro akasa ne MPP ye no enye na tena NDC ba when your finance minister di and then yamen chade all the finance issues need the nyina wona aye Royal Bank na capital adequacy ratio no na ye 80.53%. The minimum capital adequacy ratio no is to be 10%. Until you obey hand over the amount. MPP in Pabon for ye tia ye adwene ye ho ye tifi adwene ho. Enti maba restored bank now more capital adequacy ratio no. Aye 80% no. Restore the allowances for them. I am today calling on to forcing to restore banks your more capital adequacy ratio. At the time of revocation, no, the minimum adequacy ratio, no, on restore my lances, mom, you will chroma near more and some man say, Ato is forcing, restore the banks now, more capital adequacy ratio, Eke Kanko. Aya above 80%. Now we need to say the minimum capital adequacy ratio should be 10%. Restore them. Omo call ya come ya do 100% no. Restore them. Ni amount mom say, we ya finance minister waba Ghana yenya bida. Do it. Because the na president Mahama king kan nyina no na prepare man so nkoka. Na mbetima ye. Nti waba ye. Yeah. Or see the bank where run up are you Royal Bank asem na make? Or see the bank has persistently faced serious liquidity challenges since September 2017, resulting in the continuous breach of the cash reserve ratio required by Section 36 of Act 930. Your cash reserve ratio, I say, will comply. Now, breachy, cash reserve ratio na. Nature say, uni kwanza running bank kroma. According to President Mahama own law, sa President no kofia otwa no ho ebe kisu die or a prime ra President Mahama na de call parliament me ya pass ye ebe kisu omo. Or say it has survived on liquidity support totaling 295 million tio hat na asem no wono. You see, bangene ya ko hwesem no tie brofo no ha o. Or say it has survived on liquidity support totaling 295 million. E hono na yema hino bangi no empa info e fa nkrofo sika di no ni atam Ghana fo sika from Bank of Ghana ni asande akoma omo se momfa nye bangi ni yie no ma san fradi sanye ma omo ye nyina no o minor di kana before ansana ye be revoke lances no kra no na o man Ghana ye di kana tam o man ni sika 295 million at the Akomomo. This is the report. And Abronye neka. Or say it has survived on liquidity support, totaling 295 million. Liquidity, money. Ti do mine sika, ye do mine sika, bangin painful ni discano, ni ye trim or mine sika de comomo, ye sebe ya, a man for a woman sika domu yamun si and on my quapem, and Tinessa banker said Dabby. Dear mo yen mo dear woo, because I drew by Bino or mining Yassika bien farmer support because ya wants a moon pain for no and a mood discano. MPP koye we a beye politics against MPP. And now Mabano, more liquidity support. President Mahama, and now Wabano, more liquidity support to Nduom. More liquidity support to be your chroma, give it to them. Oh, Kasai cheap. Unimadia wo can say, just for political gains be and na open, but then yet feasible. And then yet doable under the law. And so I can't add votes. Because I say dunkati I can pray and say Ghana hano or more munko school or more mon kanya dia or montiasiano over 60% and tikwana or mon DC for befaso adada Ghana for bia tambia dia win power befaso and nunti and NDC and then nenino wo machiwa dia free senior high. And this party no krepa woman say and this party no one adia o mompe o machiwade e free senior high enu ti na aduane fon aduane odigu ankokọ kra nso ana o ma heda de man kra no e wo school because and this in free senior high so obi abekobi dabi o machiwade na o be da ditro akere o mo because be ya kakra no sa propaganda politics mo ye nitro ne yen survive no e betwam Ebekam and DC for you. Banging pro, namo the liquidity support to call, no moody, pro, namo de call. Hina wo ye and wo ye o mine. Na ban bia base no. Min chama sam painfo no. Ye discama mo no mo de akọ to 12 year wa brochire. Atoto adana kese o Dubai. No mine san diska ko wura bangi mu de ye ba stop MPP ye we ya. Hey, Monto Banti MPP. Munya say, ye buy don't bang be mom. Nyame adom waba. Give it to them. San more liquidity support to you. Ye wo kroma. Give it to them, Mary. Restore it immediately, as promised by you. Ye call Beji Bank Limited. Beji Bank Limited. Beji Bank Limited. I see, the Beji Bank commenced banking operation in December 2017 after operating as savings and loans since 2012. A special examination conducted by the Bank of Ghana into the affairs of the bank 6 months after the commencement of its operation revealed that 1. Funds purportedly used by the bank parent company to recapitalize were sourced from the bank through an affiliate company and in violation with regulatory requirement for bank capital. In particular, an amount of 163 million belonging to the bank was placed with one of its affiliate company, an asset management company, and subsequently transferred to its parent company, which in turn purported to reinvest it in the bank as part of the bank capital. The placement by the bank with its affiliate company amounted to 86.86% of its net own funds as at end June 2018, thereby breaching the regulatory limit of 10%. Furthermore, the purported use of the same funds by the parent company of the bank to reinvest in the bank was in contravention of the Bank of Ghana's requirement for bank capital. Also, the bank has not been able to recover these funds for its operation. Saudi affiliate company, any bank in the Juma, related parties no. Ni yesafon ni sikano at the court. Wamo affiliate company. na affiliate company no atwa ne ho asande saa sika na ba so ode ba be investment ekowi akire no na bank na ye funfuram ama capital adequacy ratio no akwakoduru 86.86%. And so you see a bank e wo kroma. You see a bank kroma. Or say the bank persistently breached the cash reserve requirement under section 36 of Act 930. The quality of the bank's loan portfolio had seriously deteriorated, resulting in a non-performing loans ratio of 72%. Mwan kasam painfo no klasika modi amama ho no moye madwen se muntua eno nko aye 72%. Omo say a bank aye buy be sand omo lances ama omo ya drew sovereign bank ya drew sovereign bank. I said that Sovereign Bank Limited, known as Sovereign Bank Limited, was launched as a universal bank in January 2016 and began operations in April 2016 as part of Bank of Ghana's investigation into the failure of Capital Bank Limited, currently in receivership. It emerged that Sovereign Bank's initial capital, contributed by its shareholders, was funded from transfer from Capital Bank, which had been presented to the Bank of Ghana as investment on behalf of the bank. Subsequent to its licensing, a substantial amount of the bank's capital was placed with another financial institution as investment for the bank. Hate you. Who run a bank? Who your bank? I will run a bank. Mona mojimu hundie se mabua mahomo baba ye bank. Sas empemfo na ewo capital bank no. Womo safon ni sika na eno bi na omudi ko bie sovereign bank. We are see. Womo hwe ya capital bank na ho de ni ko fam no. Ena mpemfo no binum ye fast. Edi sika no ko wura sovereign bank. Na ne sovereign bank no so strategy obaye seti wo ye bank. Bank ya wona ese ka ye proper investment no. Omuna tam omusika de akwa savings and loans company. So omo de kwa ye investment wo. Asem we muntie ne ye o. For example, maminche na tia se Bank of Ghana atam sikaba Abronye savings and loans e ba ye investment. What to be that? Bank of Ghana Commercial Bank atam sika ako Abronye savings and loans e de akwa managing director na no bribo an say ye ba ye savings and loan a ono atwere ne mranko aho asem na onim no akobie Abronye savings and loans so ye managing director near the Ghana Commercial Bank atam krofo sika say yemfa nko Abronye savings and loans wa na no bibo na ye managing director emrane atwere ho asem kwa anything about finance bi o ka kire wa obwa na ya tam sika from Ghana Commercial Bank at the call Abronye savings and loans. Ayenim say nipa na wo honom na asem managing director no bibo apart from mra any afuo mu asem any history sika sem bia de ontimi manage sika ma nso ya tam sika no every Ghana Commercial Bank de ba ho say ye ba ye how ye see ya no say Obia be a bank is a sovereign bank and it's a bank in ye. Sama bank and a time on Crofossi card the court savings and loans for your investment. Then you know a connection. Idea be any what woman need the capacity to run a bank and she see at a bank. And the bank or no court savings and loans are cobobra. Hey, Ghana politics. Time I ever won't say NDC. Any idea to run the nation, no. Time I Ghana for be who no. Na, in fact, any man say. Time I Ghana for be who say. NDC ni ideas. NDC in kita dream papa. Emma or mine Ghana. Time I ever who no. Na, any man say. Time I Ghana for be Ghana free NDC propaganda ho. No, Matima free as ya catch no who say NDC there never again no. Na eniyama yede I say. Say you're very, very careful. I say you're steady. Niyama yehu. Sema yehu. Na sa politics ya ye no kroma no enye politics papa. Producer yanko break for video no tum yanko break 1 minute mra.
The banking licenses that were cancelled by this government will be restored. The banking licenses that were cancelled by this government will be restored. The banking licenses that were cancelled by this government will be restored. The banking licenses that were cancelled by this government will be restored. The banking licenses that were cancelled by this government will be restored. The banking licenses that were cancelled by this government will be restored. The banking licenses that were cancelled by this government will be restored. The banking licenses that were cancelled by this government will be restored. The banking licenses that were cancelled by this government will be restored. The banking licenses that were cancelled by this government will be restored. The banking licenses that were cancelled by this government will be restored. The banking licenses that were cancelled by this government will be restored. The banking licenses that were cancelled by this government will be restored.
Yenye our construction bank. Na memfe no nwie on the banks na NDC Ditrono and no social media no. Page 9 of the report. Construction Bank Limited. Construction Bank was launched in May 2017 and commenced operation in December 2017. That time, Krana Finance Minister and taking office. The Bank of Ghana Neye Najuma, Dr. Nasiru, Anoye President Mahama appointee, Ono Nema Omo lances. Dr. Nasiru Isaku. No, ye President Mahama appointee or no nema omo lances. Na fe na MPP formal government. Na yes actually and sign lances at the moment. And commenced operation in December 2017 in the course of the official administration of Unibank. The Bank of Ghana discovered certain transactions involving Construction Bank. Further investigation revealed that 1. The initial minimum paid up capital of the bank provided by its promoter/shareholder was funded by loans obtained from NIB. That is 34 million. An amount of 2 Also, the initial minimum paid up capital of the bank provided by its promoter/shareholder was funded by loans obtained from NIB 34 million and Unibank 61 million, contrary to Section 9D of Act 930. Netian say, so person be a bangia. President Mahama Mrano deba 2015 no. Yankwa bank in Kwanko Jibusia Emma may be a bank. The former governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ishaku Nasiru, or any deputy Johnson Pandit Asiama, or yet the current governor, no munim pefe say. Emrana or Moan Casadeba 2016 no, 2015 no, Emrana Chira say, Abronye peso be a bangia. Yanko commercial bank, yanko absa, yanko Stanbic, yanko Jibusia, yanko Kobie bank. Any specialized and savings deposit taken at 930 no ebo abra. And so the former governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ishaku Nasiru, ebuna nigu so emaye lance say construction bank no. Or say an amount of 80 million out of the amount reported as the bank's paid up capital and purportedly placed with NIB and Unibank remained inaccessible to the bank. That's how Mokwaji Yeninano Besin Neno. Omuhumba Biayade Afa. The bank's inability to inject additional capital to restore its capital adequacy to the minimum capital of 120 million required at the date of licensing threatens the safety of deposited funds and the stability of the banking system. Just a time no cry ye man license no. Sika SSE Kotria and the Toa and the Bank of Ghana say obetima ye bank no 120 million. One trio, one yes canon tria, and so your man land say go ahead and operate as a bank. Muntio, ya yamra President Mahama na yamra 2015 say. Before and summer, a bank in a betima operate no. Initial sika, the initial capital no, 120 million. As a South the tour, my Bank of Ghana who say you have that money. Construction bank anya 120 million no. And so your man lances say onko operate na onyin krofo sika. And on a Bank of Ghana tena see ye 2018 no say the new governor ne ba ye no and obahwe nkrata ma no say na ba ne sign na require capital na ye 120 million unya yentuae niema lances se ko operate na tena enkrofo sika obaye ne den require capital tresa wo dina obetima arane bank no oni o enso yetimi man lances the former governor or the current governor yi no ye deputy omutimi man construction bank lances because na fe na MPP abana na omugusu wo sa na omu di bone na ye den akọ omu di bone nwie ya na omu se ye kọ na ye sese ye ya wie afiachi awe nu be ye nhwehwemu na omu hu nse sikam price so omu di ma Bank of Ghana sa o man fama and so Bank of Ghana management then ema omu lances to operate and at 930 no Section 9D no eboabra. Owing to the bank's inability to assess investment purportedly made in its name with other financial institutions, the Bank of Ghana has concluded that a total of 80 million of the bank's 120 initial paid-up capital is unavailable to the bank for its operation, leaving an amount of 40 million, 1/3 of the minimum capital of and no cry no money 120 million in na ho sika no mo da wo ho 40 million nti e ba ne sign na utimi operate as a bank